What's up, y'all? This is Chris from Many Worlds Tavern. This is episode... No, you're not supposed to talk until I introduce you. That's a podcast rule.
Your name.
This is the Many Worlds Tavern podcast, episode 4. We are live from BGGCon in Dallas. And I'm here today with Kacy V. Hill. What's up, Kacy?
What's up, Chris?
And Ernesto Alejandro.
Hello.
And Andrew Lorman.
I'm here as well.
Awesome. What's up, guys? So the story for BGGCon, this is our first con. We picked a con that we could drive to, so it's only a 4-hour drive from Houston. Me and Kacy took the first leg from Wednesday to Friday, and we're about to hand off the torch to Andrew and Ernesto. But they had a few hours today as well. So.
You guys already handed off the torch.
You're right.
You left pretty much as soon as we showed
there's
up.
some other people here? All right.
Yeah.
See you later.
It's a small booth, okay? I mean, it
definitely was a little crowded there.
But
I
will
know
credit
what to do
you.
anymore.
You're like, we're going to go play some games. And then you disappeared for 2 minutes. And then you came and played a game right next to our booth.
Yeah, well, okay. So here's the story with that is...
I felt safer with you there. But also, yeah.
Yeah, our neighbors, we had neighbors on both sides that were super awesome this weekend. And Strongbox Games was over on our left. That was like Ben and Zach, and they were demoing their game, which is still like a prototype, pre-production. They're trying to go to Kickstarter next year. So we hope that we fed them well with coffee, but before we left, we were like, we got to try their game because they've been talking about it. So we got to try that.
Also, for being honest, we might have wanted to make sure it didn't burn down when we left. So
a little bit. I think Andrew was looking a little nervous.
Oh,
no.
Yeah. My customer service skills are far behind y'all's. So yes.
No, I think you did great.
I think you did great.
Yeah, you did great.
Yeah.
all I know how to do is serve
it wasn't
coffee.
Ernesto level, but
no, all I can do is serve coffee.
Who is really?
Boomtown's resident angel who
right.
makes coffee. That's it.
Yeah, Ernesto is a barista at our sister company, Boomtown Coffee, and Kacy is a CPA. He's my friend, and he volunteered to help us out. So so any good stories from the past 2 days of the con? I have one. I think the funniest one to me was this lady came up to us and out of nowhere she looked at our pins and she kind of was really, really surprised and like so excited, and I was like, yeah, they're pretty cool, right? And she pulls from her side her purse and it's just covered in cat pins, and she said, yeah, this is my cat pin purse. And I was like, what? How did you find the cat pin place at the con? So we released some pins at the con this year. Those will be going up on the website soon, but they were a hit, I think.
Yeah, I think I really liked. It seemed like a lot of people were really enjoying the artwork and everything put together, or even like some of the compliments we got. I really liked the best description I heard was one guy who just seemed so amazed, and he took a sip and just said, "Beautiful," and I was like, "All right, that seems good."
Yeah, beautiful is a good adjective for post drink.
Yeah, but then sometimes people take a drink and they're like, "This is a little bitter," and I'm like, "But have you had coffee before?"
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I wanted to specify what bitter was to them.
But yeah, well, and that's we've learned that after years of serving people coffee. A lot of times, their descriptors are different than our descriptors, and sweet may not. Well, sweet's always pretty general, but yeah, sour and bitter and strong and bold always mean somewhat different things with different people.
Yeah. I think it's been cool too to we have to introduce the samples pretty quick. So I'll be like, yeah, this is our medium roast, this is our dark roast, and they'll taste them. And I think there's a lot of this whole week has been people having an expectation of what it's going to taste like, and then they're pretty blown away, thankfully. So that it tastes better than they expect or different than they expect. I think also there's like a reasonable suspicion, like a coffee company for game night, of us like pandering or trying to make a buck on their gimmick. Yeah. Yeah, or like make a buck on their passion of gaming and just try to shovel in something else. But I think people saw us for who we are as far as like taking the coffee seriously and also being one of them. So
yeah, we got to serve some instant coffee today. You guys didn't get to yesterday, but yeah, the one guy definitely, he came up and he was like, I've never had instant coffee that I wanted to swallow. We were like, all right, well, you got to try our instant coffee. And then he took a sip and he's like, that's not instant coffee. And then he bought some.
We made a believer out of
That's
that.
a believer, yeah.
I mean, it was like immediate. He was like, all right, like I'm getting this.
Yeah.
But even he had all these reasons why he was like excited about good instant coffee. And I was like,
yeah, but that instant coffee made me a believer too. I think
we
had
did a
plenty
lot
of
research.
had plenty of suspicion, but tasted lots of samples, and yeah, they did such a good job. And the same with the decaf. Yeah, it was. I had a great interaction with someone who she was looking for decaf, and I didn't have any brewed, so I was like, yeah, if you can hang out for 5-6 minutes, yeah, I'll have it ready for you. And she's like, okay, I'll do a lap. And she walked away for 30 seconds, and then she came back. She's like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna buy it. And she was just like, you've been super friendly, and I tried your other coffee already, so I'll just trust you that. And I told her that we were proud of the decaf because knowing that game night is gonna happen at night a lot of the time, we were looking for a good decaf. So yeah, it was just fun interacting with people in person. Put a face to the website a bit. So yeah, I also noticed there were a lot of people that knew the brand, which is wild, especially compared to when I went to Gen Con in Indy. I was wearing my shirt the whole time. I got a couple of people talking to me, but at this con, tons of people were like, oh, I saw you on OFPG, or I saw you on
that couple's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, one guy was just like name drop Monique and Naveen, and like this thing. I was like, all right, okay, yeah.
That's before you play.
And then what was the other person came out and said? Oh, they had seen the Keymaster giveaway.
Oh yeah.
They entered the Keymaster giveaway. Oh, it was our next door neighbor, Zach. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He entered the Keymaster giveaway, which I guess he didn't win, but that's where he had heard about it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And then I what's it called? There's a few people that came up to talk about Paula's skit with us featured.
That was so good.
So
his skit was pretty great.
It was wild just to be like, oh yeah, we're here. We're trying to be part of this, and
we're real.
We're starting to be part of it, and yeah, it's super fun.
Are games the next topic?
Yeah.
I was gonna say yes.
So I think my favorite game we've played so far is still I really enjoyed Brick and Mortar. Yeah. Brick and Mortar was Chris and I the first night just kind of stumbled upon. We were looking for people who wanted extra players. We jumped out on a table, and the guy Nick was teaching it, and Chris kind of noticed that he explained very well and seemed to be really really inspired by this game. So come to find out, we were playing with the designer of the game. The game hasn't released in the United States yet. It's like on a barge or something. He sounded like he said, but to be released shortly. But we were playing with the only U.S. copies for what he's told us, and it was just did you want to give a brief overview of the game?
Right?
You stole it.
We did not. But yeah, Brick and Mortar was like a heavy economic game. It kind of tricked me because the art is kind of cutesy, and it was like, oh yeah, maybe. And it was kind of we did
be a casual fun game.
Yeah, we did a full day.
3 hours later,
and then as we sat down, he's like, okay, this is a cutthroat economic game, and I was like, okay, and then and it was the kind of game. There are games like Food Chain Magnate and other like heavy economic games where they don't pull any punches, to where it lets you make mistakes that are like cause you to lose from the start, and it doesn't protect the players from themselves. So it lets you do a lot of stuff, but if you do it, you're going to pay for it, like positively or negatively. So that game, I kind of dropped the ball. I did not do super well. I was trying to be too cute with my stores and try to set up some combos. Kacy did really well though.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit bitter. I got right at the end. I made one small mistake, and that led to I tied with this guy and lost on a tiebreaker to the designer of the game. If I didn't make my mistake, I would have beat him. But I mean, I still to lose in a tiebreaker to the man who built the game felt pretty good. So
what if he knows it so well that he knows how to get to a tiebreaker every time?
So that we talk about it on the podcast.
Every time he just wants to get somebody inspired that they came close to beating the designer.
Right. He's getting people to talk about it, apparently.
Yeah. What else did we play? We played Vindication yesterday. Oh, Brick Mortar, by the way, that is Octoraf Games. I think the only way you can order it now post Kickstarter is on their website. So Octoraf, it's like octopus plus giraffe, and it looks like a little Cthulhu giraffe in their logo. It's pretty cool. Yesterday we played Vindication. Vindication was fun. It was kind of like a point salad game where you're just exploring the board and doing what you can to get points, and there's lots of different ways you're manipulating resources into other stuff. But the coolest thing was I got to see Ryan Valdez again. He's my friend. He used to be a game guide at Teen Victory. We've done a lot of stuff with ex-Teen Victory people. We had Bree on the podcast last week. And Ryan set up a BGG event teaching Vindication. And I think he left it, what he said was he left it open-ended because he had signups for like 4 or 5 people. But then he didn't put a cap on it, so he ended up with like 15, 20 people to teach this one game. So they scrounged up 4 copies. I think they got 2 copies from the library, and they found someone with a copy, and he had his copy or something. It was like a whole half of the meeting room was playing Vindication. It was really fun. He did a great job teaching. He always does. So it was good to see him. And I think he's going to be on some Mini Worlds content in the future. So
Chris was a little bit more prepared for the difficulty of this game, I think.
I took it away on that.
He did a little bit better than Brick and Mortar.
Yeah. I also, in Brick and Mortar, there were like different store types. There was like food and clothing and jewelry and art and all this stuff. And I did not try food at all. I think it was like...
was there a coffee shop?
Well, there was like coffee, food stuff, and I absolutely avoided it.
And that's what I used to destroy Chris.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, it's too real. I don't want to even think
I
of
would probably avoid opening a coffee shop in a board game at all costs.
Yeah. What are your fellas win-lose ratios then since you've been here?
Yeah, Kacy won Brick Mortar. I won Vindication. What else do we play? I just beat Kacy at Shaolia Warring Estates.
Yeah.
Which it's fun. It was kind of like a cutthroat, like fighty Machikoro, where you like build up your city and then roll dice, and if your dice hit the numbers, they do stuff. And I had an early catapult, and I was like breaking a lot of Kacy's stuff, but I really thought I was gonna lose, and it was a long game.
Yeah, it was definitely way longer than I think either of us anticipated.
It says 30 to 60 on the box, and
why is every game like that?
Yeah, well, it might also be our like personality of just like not wanting to give.
It always makes me so self-conscious, though. I'm like,
I
don't know.
Really that bad at playing?
What if it's like that?
It takes me twice as long as it says.
Returning players already know how to play, so that's valid.
That's definitely part of it. Like playing it for the first time, it takes you longer to think through some
I
things.
always felt that way. Do you guys remember in high school though, when your teacher would be like, "This should only take you 10 minutes to read," and you're like, man, this took me half an hour to like do this assignment that was supposed to take 10 minutes. I'm like, no, I think
like who holds the Guinness record?
There's definitely things of like,
teacher's just like
when you get to know it very well,
she's like, oh, this took me 10 minutes to finish.
Yeah,
you're not getting a grade.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Kacy, we had to quit our game of Ireland and Sea early, but I'm pretty sure Kacy was going to take that one too. Did we play something else?
Isn't there a different
last
version?
night? What did we play at the end of last night? We
played Riftforce.
Riftforce,
that was new. I saw that new at Gen Con, so but I didn't get to demo it there. So I got to try that. That was a weird one because we kind of like totally misread the strategy, I think, in the beginning, and then I was like, all right, let's run it back. let's try it again.
Very quickly we're like, oh, we did this very poorly.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys saw the library. It's pretty
overwhelming.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is wild.
Yeah.
Stuff I haven't seen since I was 10.
I'm also very much like the type of person. I'm not good with like too many choices. I can handle a couple, but seeing the 1,000 games in a room or a couple thousand games, like I don't know where to start.
The paradox of choice.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm also I was talking about this a little bit earlier, but I'm also very bad at like when it comes to board games. Like I get attracted by the visuals of the art or the graphic design and whatever, and then I feel like a lot of times I pick very cute games that end up gameplay being not great. So I have a hard time. Makes it even harder for me to pick in the future when I've picked poor games before based off of aesthetics.
Yeah.
I'm a very visual person, so if a game looks bad, I will probably not play it.
Yeah.
Chris and I have this joke motto. We actually haven't used it in a while. It's probably good that we haven't used it in a while. But I used to say, I was like, as we were coming up with ideas for mini worlds, I said, Chris, if it looks good, it is good. But it was one of the things from architecture school. I think like one of my professors, he like said it in a way that made me think like he actually thought it was true, but he hated that it was true.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, at the end of the day, like people are gonna go after the thing that looks good rather than the thing that actually probably is better, but doesn't quite look as good.
True.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
And I think it's also up to a point for sure. And I think many worlds, I do think the brand looks great.
It does look good.
But
I agree.
I think looks great. And then I think today was some validation for people to be like, okay, the coffee, like I tasted the coffee and I'm like, okay, these guys aren't just a pretty face, which is what they think when they see me. So
they're like, man.
Chris.
The face behind the coffee, but is there any coffee behind the face?
That's right. That's what they're all thinking. So yeah, it was super fun to give samples to people. I think people were we heard lots of different things, but a lot of people came up to us and asked us what our game was, which was fun. It's like, no, we're coffee.
We also had one
we don't
person
just have coffee here randomly to attract you to our game.
Yeah.
We like want you to try our coffee.
We had one person tell us we need to turn it into a game somehow.
Yeah, I've had a few of those, and then I think 4 people yesterday thought we made like a drinking game or something, and the coffee was just
a lot
proxy.
of people to come to that same conclusion.
Yeah, so
maybe we need to make a drinking game.
The coffee is for the game. The game is the coffee. You drink it.
Are there any like real games that you can buy that are drinking games, like designed to be drinking games?
Alcohol games,
like
I think so.
Like if you go to Target, is there a
box.
drinking game?
There's gotta be, right?
Yeah, there's got to be
Next
like Cards Against
Exploding
Humanities or
Kittens,
something.
Is there like exploding diarrhea or something?
Yes. Do you know what this is? Can you drink it?
Yeah.
But you can't look.
Yeah. But yeah, so the guys will be here. Ernesto and Andrew will be here tomorrow and Sunday. And they'll be packing up the whole booth. We gotta talk about the booth a little bit. I feel bad for Ben and Zach at Strongbox Games because I think they got the absolute worst first impression of me they could have. Because it was like an empty exhibit hall and it was me and these 2 guys. And they were being super friendly and their booth was mostly set up. But I was on a little time crunch and needed to get done by 6. And it was like 4:30. And that was like, okay, it's time to make 3 IKEA cube shelves. And I was like, I got this. But the first one, man, it was just not going in. The 4th edge of it was not going in. So there was a lot of quiet cursing. And then they introduced themselves to me while I was like in the middle of that, and I was sweating, for real. So like, hey, I'm Ben, and it's like, oh hi. After that, the 2 other shelves were so fast, like record speed.
The videos made
Of
it look
course
so
it
easy.
would.
That's part of why I picked
The first one, no,
so easy
they
to
were
put together.
easy. The first one just wanted to fight back.
Because they didn't require any tools, right?
No
You just
tools. I
pop
didn't
it
put the
together.
legs on them because
That's
I didn't
fine.
bring a drill.
That's fine.
But I think we ended up. The other big complication was the hooks.
Hooks, yeah.
Yeah, we brought zip ties to hang up our banner, but I didn't realize how like thick the curtain would be, and we also shared the backdrop curtain with our backdoor neighbors, so I couldn't take that down, which I think we planned to do. So we went to Home Depot and found some curtain rod things and made it work, but it was a little stressful the first day.
Especially since that we didn't really finally get it up till like 30 minutes before open, right? We finally got there and then we're like, okay, now we can just sit for a minute before people show up.
Did you have people coming to you like, are y'all ready? What is this? Are you ready? And it's like, no, leave.
Well, they were given good time like
a countdown kind of warning.
Yeah. No, I was really amazed with the BGG staff and volunteers this weekend. Yeah, they've been so great. Big shout out to Jeff Sorensen, I believe his last name. He seems to be the one heading up the exhibitor organization, and he was super helpful in emails leading up to the event. And I even messed up Kacy's badge, and he got it fixed real quick. And he's just been super helpful. So everybody at BGG, thanks so much for putting on a great con and easy con for us. Hopefully the first of many. I think we're pretty amazed with the response and had a lot of fun. So we'll try to get a schedule of con stuff going for next year. I've heard lots of stuff about PAX Unplugged. In Houston, there's like OwlCon and Comic Palooza and all this stuff. So,
well, it's funny when you design a brand to be experienced completely on the internet.
Yeah.
And then you actually like interact with people for the first time with it in front of you, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah, and people are so kind. Even just for just them trying to promote like a small business. I think there's some people that just want to do that, especially at a con like this. They just are all about community, and it's the kind of stuff you get at the con rather than playing at home. Most games, like there's a lot of rare games in the library, but I saw plenty of people just pick up something you can get very easily, and I think it's just the atmosphere and seeing friends from afar that you haven't seen for a while, or meeting new people, but also people just wanted to support. A lot of people were like, I don't drink coffee, but I want to buy your pins or your playmat, and just wanted to
just like a desire to support.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
it was so cool.
Have you guys seen anyone like playing Monopoly? Or like
I was expecting a Catan, honestly. I haven't seen anybody playing Catan. I know it is in the library, and I was curious.
Every
if anybody is
version.
picking. Yeah, they have everything. In
And
there.
I've seen people with like Catan hoodies, like super fans, but no one's playing it. But I know it's out there.
Some Catan. Every once in a while, I feel like, you know what, it's time for another Catan game. But I think it's been quite a while since
I like Catan.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play Catan with my dad anymore.
Oh yeah, he's a little.
so it doesn't get played in my family.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah. Ernesto knows my dad. He's served him coffee before.
Oh.
Funny guy. He brought us sandwiches once. I remember that. Are y'all hungry or something?
He would actually probably love this conference. Actually, my mom probably would too.
Yeah, your mom seems like a.
My mom is like a board game collector. She's like a closet nerd, I think. Actually, she's not super closet, but she does. She's like, recently, like the most recent mom quote I could share with you guys. She's like, Andrew, like, is something wrong with me? I'm a 60-year-old woman and I love like fantasy shows on television. Like, she loved The Witcher.
Oh, nice.
Oh, hell
She
yeah.
watched it by herself because my dad didn't like it. I was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I was like, you're just a nerd.
That's awesome.
Yeah, stuff like that would be. It's so. I don't know. People get into it and they don't expect themselves to get into it. I'm like, what stopped you?
Yeah.
You just have to watch it.
I'm more curious on what the most recent mom quote you can't share with us is, since this was only the one that you could share with us.
I don't know if there's been any mom quotes in a long time that I wouldn't want to share. No.
That's fair.
Most of the mom quotes recently are more about my 5-year-old or
Yeah.
grandma quotes for sure.
Awesome. So yeah, this has been episode 4. We just one more quick shout out, a tangent thing. We had an awesome dinner at
Cow
Khao, Khao, right?
Noodles.
Cow Noodles.
Cow Noodle Shop.
Just a shout out because we're from Houston. We have a healthy rivalry dislike of Dallas. So Dallas
it's kind
has,
of unhealthy, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
healthy in amount, but unhealthy in toxicity.
Dallas, you're talking about?
Healthy in volume, unhealthy in content. Yeah.
So the one good thing in Dallas is Qua Noodles.
Cow.
K-A.
Khao.
Yeah, they were doing it was even a cool way to order stuff. They were doing small bowls of noodles and bites. We got fried gizzards and mushroom jerky and all this stuff.
I feel like we ate better than anyone at BGGCon tonight.
Maybe so.
being
Unless
at
they
this
also
place.
went to
It's definitely
that
possible.
restaurant. So we're gonna wrap it up. We couldn't really find a spot to record the podcast, so no camera this time. The 4 of us are sitting around the hotel room on different beds, so it's kind of funny.
You know what's funny to me about podcasts
Yeah.
is you're not being recorded, but we're all still making eye contact with each other,
Yeah.
having a normal conversation. It's
Just have microphones in our hands.
I guess it's just strange to
listeners.
be in the same room with people. At this point, post-pandemic, you're
still in
we're actually just hanging out with microphones in front
Yeah.
of our face at this
Yeah.
point.
Right.
it. So I hope you all enjoyed. After the con, we're going to release all the stuff that we pre-released at the con. We've got the playmat and the pins, and of course Treasured Realm, which we teased a little bit on the last episode. That's our new single origin coffee. We're doing 100 bags only. Each one comes with a card that's numbered X out of 100. There's a sticker. There's a D&D magic item that Andrew drew and wrote up for you. It's what is it called? It's the Axis.
Called the Glacier's Bite.
It's Glacier's Bite.
It's like a magic axe.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we have 100 of those. Like I said, I think we sold. I don't remember how many we brought.
We brought 15. No, we brought maybe 10.
10,
And
something
we
like
sold
that.
them much faster than we expected to.
And I believe we
yeah.
sent 4 or 5 to influencers. So
It is already up on the website, though.
Oh, great.
It is
Okay.
there.
How
And
about
you
the
can
playmat
start-
and the pins? Not yet.
They're not on the
Okay,
website.
so those will be up next week.
Treasured Realm is there.
Awesome. And this month it is a Sonora Bourbon that's very, very tasty.
Yeah, it's a mix of honey and natural process. It is. It's pretty delicious.
So that's going to wrap it up. Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you.
See ya.
Oh, thanks.